Hey everyone, this is Crash, stepping in post-recording during the editing process to let you know that I screwed up. You may have noticed that there isn't actually an episode 7. This is combined episodes 7 and 8. That's because episode 7 was lost. I recorded something, but it wasn't everyone's voices. So, unfortunately, the only record we have is the recap at the beginning of episode 8, which is what you're about to listen to. My apologies. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again. It might happen again because human. But there we go. All right, on with the show. I mean, Utini.
Okay, that's that dealt with. Let me pull my brain back. So, you want to play a game? That's the word. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Well, you ruled out the game I wanted to play. So long as no one suggests Monopoly.
Game. You mean monotony?
I mean, the game designed to make everyone feel bad about democracy. Well, not democracy, capitalism. The opposite of democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And really bad about auctions.
Yes, that will never not be funny, Ellie. Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. One of them is Monopoly. It's not very fun. It wasn't designed to be.
Indeed. It was supposed to be a cautionary tale.
Yes. In other words, Monopoly is working as intended.
True, and yet people still play it. It's weird.
There's a learning curve. Not everyone realizes that Monopoly is unfun at first. And apparently there's a modern version of Monopoly where the rules are rewritten so that you just cannot win. No one can win. None of the properties are cheap enough for you to purchase.
No, that's real life, Crash. That's real life.
Yes.
That's not a game.
Yes. I'm sorry, let me get in character. Utini. And it has been established as canon that at least one of Rotini's grenades has a warning label on it that says, "Warning, this 30-second bomb counts by fives." Ideally, it is written in a language that takes more than 6 seconds to decipher.
Hey, random adventure generator. I'll look at that later. Okay, time to stop looking at the cool
random
thing.
Adventure generator? Where?
Hang on.
That one.
That one. Yes.
Having never watched the movie Up, I still feel like I need to invoke it and just say, "Squirrel!"
My world
Okay, everyone, we're settling down to play a game, and wait, what? Random adventure generator.
Yeah.
Visit site. Let's talk about this for half an hour.
No, we're not going. Ooh, random dungeon. Right. Okay, stopping now. Stopping.
Oh, I got maps.
Closing.
They also have a random Star Wars job thing.
Freight jobs. Nice.
If this is the only stuff that gets recorded for session 8, I'm okay with it.
Right. No, we should play. We should play. You've already pushed the button.
Oh, some time ago, yes. We are 6 minutes, 30 seconds as of the moment I said 30 seconds.
Oh, God. Hi,
Say that for joking.
I thought I mentioned I was hitting the record button.
You did not. Either that or you cut out from our point of view. This
Let's go with the second one.
GURPS Wars. Yeah. GURPS Wars, homebrew, Star Wars, GURPS Star Wars, whatever order you want, put it in. Crash, Ellie, EO, me. Oh my God, you people are terrible. Okay, fine. We are not doing the
We broke the GM.
That's not hard.
An accomplishment.
No, it's not an accomplishment. And
I do it so rarely because I'm the forever GM.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm GMing for you. Out of the goodness of my withered little heart.
Excuse you, I teach middle school. My cold, lifeless middle school teaching heart is far more withered and blackened than yours shall ever be.
Well, let me give the URL for people who actually got this far. D as in dog, ONJON.bin.sh/fantasy/adventure, and that will get probably the whole thing with the sidebar, and they can look at the science fiction stuff themselves. Do we want to actually play and not just play with pressing the fun buttons on the website?
I mean, why not both?
Because it will distract me. You people can press the fun buttons, but you know. So, Zisha's been rolling.
I'm just getting sixes out of the way.
Well, I believe you are the one not 2 sessions ago, 2 weeks ago, our last session, that got the critical success of 3 ones.
You people were heading towards Alderaan last,
I think that's correct.
having left kind of ASAP from the other little place without any additional cargo.
We
There
delivered
was
the
a legal
gravel.
dispute.
Yes, we delivered the gravel. We collected the people who decided to be tourists. I was shamefully harassed,
Shameful.
and then we headed for Alderaan.
I did not have any opportunities to use any of my inventions. Actually, no, I think I did use a Faraday cage, but I didn't get to detonate it.
Nope.
And
You
you know
could've
full
thrown
well
things
that
at the-
functionality is built in.
Well, yeah. I mean, anything that Rotini makes, we just assume it's going to blow up, don't we?
It goes without saying, which is why I didn't say it until now. Now I have said it. So it didn't go without saying.
I'll take your word for it. So,
That's what I said.
Alderaan next. It's a few days. Does anyone want to do anything while in hyperspace?
As a hobby, Rotini sometimes likes to just, do back of the envelope math to figure out what kind of energy forces would be necessary to make a planet explode. It's usually some incredibly large number with a lot of zeros that would not be feasible at all. And because we're heading to Alderaan, Rotini's just like trying to see if Alderaan could be exploded. And wait, this is totally unfeasible. No one would have that kind of power. Where would you even get a laser that large? It'd have to come out of more than one spot and then combine into a bigger... You need like a small moon or something for that. Never mind.
I don't think we're trying to destroy any planet.
One certainly hopes not.
Oh, I have no intention of destroying a planet, especially when, we haven't been paid for delivering people to said planet yet. Also, I don't have that much
Indeed.
explosives. Also, this is...
I am glad. I do not wish to be on a vessel with that many explosives.
You'd have to make the vessel out of the explosives. No one could even build a
I would
space station
prefer
that
not
size.
to.
Everyone got 2 points from the last one? Yes.
Oh, I should
You all
probably
got 2
add those.
points from the last adventure. Yes, if you haven't added to your 2 points, then you should probably add your 2 points.
Lucky 13! I am sure nothing will go wrong.
I'm going to see if I added my points.
I did not take notes on something I meant to take notes on last episode. Oh,
Okay,
well,
where is our last? Okay, we got 2 points.
2 points last time.
This is episode 8.
Yeah.
That's what Crash says. I wish there was a thing on the Foundry that I could just put in.
Yeah.
It basically
There
needs
might
a
be
per
eventually
episode.
every week, Saturday morning, I load up Foundry and I run all the updates. And almost every week I do that, there is an update for the GURPS rule set. So I wouldn't be shocked if at some point it was added in, or it might have already been added in since we started playing.
That'd be useful. Anyway, was there anything that anyone wanted to do on the way? Which what? You okay, Ellie?
Oh, that was stupid. I opened the wrong version of my character sheet.
Oops. Was there anything you wanted to do on the way to Alderaan? Talk to your passengers. Weld your passengers into their rooms.
Not after last time.
Throw them out an airlock.
Zisha has informed me that welding passengers into their rooms, while it does keep the rest of the ship nice and tidy, we don't get a lot of return business or word of mouth referrals. So I'm not doing that anymore.
Also, we get questions from customs about the modifications that we've made to the ship.
We wouldn't if we didn't let them on the ship.
Yeah, but then we couldn't do shipments.
Look, I have this plan for like a revolving door thing where it looks like they're coming on the ship, but it actually just spins them around and they exit the ship.
They'd probably notice. I think they'd notice.
Not if we spin them enough.
So, I have a question.
Huh?
This is about the Foundry character sheets, and it's entirely possible that the answer is I don't know.
That's
Okay.
probably going to be my default answer.
In
but
each-
let's give it a shot.
In each of advantages and disadvantages, the advantages, disadvantages, perks, and quirks section, and the skills section, I have accidentally added more lines than I need. When I click the X, nothing happens. Is there a way to get rid of those?
Interesting.
Maybe. I have
The X's also seem to be accompanying the other things, so it's like there appears to be extra space you can type on.
I have seen things go away after I clicked on the X, but not during that session. When I loaded the character sheet up later on, so Foundry closed, I opened it again a week later and looked, and it was gone. It had updated the database, but not refreshed from the updated database. Now, is this the case for that?
Ellie,
I don't know.
press full view.
Okay, I pressed full view.
Now scroll. Are those lines still there?
Yes.
Okay, they're not there for me. You got lots of extra lines when it's in the other thing, but when it's in full view... Oh, the extra lines at the top of skills?
Yes,
Yeah,
I have two empty lines at the top of skills, and I have one at the bottom of advantages and disadvantages that's labeled advantage/disadvantage.
Where do you want to drop this object?
Another character sheet.
I would say congratulations on your blank lines.
Can you... There's a little triangle there. I can't do anything because I'm not logged in on this computer as the game master. But there's a little triangle above that. Can you click on that and sort? Would that at least put them all at the bottom?
Push them. Should do.
That's the reason they're at the top, in fact.
Oh, blank comes before A.
Yes.
You have found an interesting problem.
Yes, that's a very interesting problem, and it is one that should probably go to the unofficial GURPS server, which is where they have the VTT Foundry, and I am going
We'll figure this out later.
Yes, we'll figure this out later. I will give you an invite so you can explain what is going on, because if we play telephone on that, that will not work very well.
So I want to make it clear. I enjoy the time I get to spend with my friends. I love all of this. But I'm also, I'm also thinking about if I was the kind of person who could be bothered with timestamps, the timestamps for this recording would be gold.
Because you've been cutting out so many of them.
Who says I want to cut them out?
Oh, God, you should. This is terrible.
I mean, there is
advertising for anything. Goodness.
The only thing that will never be put on the chopping block is when I'm talking about having cut something out.
Reasonable.
Now, did I actually cut something out, or I'm only talking about having cut something out? The audience will never know.
Who knows? Indeed.
I take it back. I am going to be studying the written Jawa language.
Okay, study time. You can go ahead. Written Jawa language sounds like something that I do not care if you pay points for it or if you use time use.
Okay.
You can do either one. Just if you're using time use, you get to do the recording of it, and I will trust you.
I offer to give you my written notes as study material.
Are your written notes decipherable, Rotini?
Look, I don't like the tone of voice you have in that particular question that you have asked, but also no. No, they are not. They are in my handwriting.
That's one.
It already looks like it's exploded, but it's just handwriting. And that's Dr. Rotini, as evidenced by my handwriting. And now I feel like I've been disconnected because everyone went quiet after that.
You have not. I'm just doing math.
I am just waiting until it is my turn to say things.
It is your turn to say things, I think.
Zisha's is going to... they are going to spend their time wandering around doing weird things, I think. Because they are just to basically be going through whatever they can think of that isn't like mentally invasive to try to figure out what is going on with the haunting.
Nedra does come to you just about every other night on, I don't know how long it's taking, but she does want to be hypnotized to get to sleep because it's always loud. I mean, it's quieter than it was. She always says it's quieter than it was, but she still hears like talking.
So Zulrock,
and she would like to be hypnotized to sleep. Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So Zulrock, like Pavel, did not pick Fireball, but instead chose weird things.
Yep.
I don't think we want Zulrock to cast Fireball on the ship.
Well, not
Never.
On the ship. Not
or
on
in the ship.
The ship. Well, sometimes in the ship. I mean, arc wielders use fuel. Force lightning is free.
I don't know if you can put a spacesuit on Zwolrock and hang them out the airlock to shoot at things.
Why would I be using an arc
I don't
wielder
know.
outside the ship in the vacuum of space? No, this is for internal repairs.
I have no idea if the TSIS wants Force Lightning to be used as a ship repair utility ability.
And to my knowledge, we don't currently need to do that, but I'm thinking ahead.
Right. Would Zwolrock like to make an appropriate roll for trying weird things to deal with the haunting issue?
Sure. Could I be rolling exorcism again, or
Roll whatever you think is an appropriate skill.
Mm.
Oh, I should
Well-
probably open-
maybe I have time to try more than one of these?
I would assume so.
Oh, I'm not seeing your rolls again.
Am I seeing your rolls? I'm not
I
seeing
saw
your
the
rolls
dice,
either.
but
So
I'm not seeing the result.
That looks like a 9 to me.
there's
And
there
an
they
8.
are. 9 and an 8.
And a 10.
that
That one I saw.
would make it by 5. Okay. You're
That actually appears in the log.
Yes, I see them all. Excellent.
I didn't see the 8 and the 9.
I didn't see them to start with, and then they all they popped up, and then the other one popped up just fine. So maybe it was just a delay. Maybe the foundry was going, "Oh, I don't
the
have to
delay
do."
might have been in me.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay. You're quite sure that you have done the exorcism thing correctly. It does not appear to have worked. You go to your hidden lore and contemplate what sorts of things it might be. And okay, if maybe it's not a haunting by a dead entity, maybe it's some kind of force link thing. Hidden lore. There are force bonds that people forge between each other sometimes, and they can, a really strong one, maybe they can talk to each other, they can sense each other off through long distances. There's hate force bonds too. You've heard of those that sort of do the same thing, only with someone just hates you so much that they want you to know about it, so
It's a
that
hate follow?
impinges. Yeah, you can get hate follows in the Force, totally.
Even a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, you can't get rid of social media. I hate all of this. I have never been more in favor of Rotini's view of explosives. I start doing the math for what calculations are necessary to blow up midichlorians.
So you need a force explosive, is what you're saying.
Yes. How
I
do I
am
get rid
not
of mass
helping with
times
this.
acceleration?
I don't want to know the answer to that.
These are the questions that keep Rotini up at night.
So I'm going to assume that if you're thinking of something for religious ritual for trying to determine what it is, or at least what it isn't, you might have to.
I think the earlier things covered what I might, earlier answers might cover what I might be doing with that. Because if it's not a haunting by something dead, then attempting to appease it isn't actually useful.
Right.
So I do not think a religious ritual roll is really helpful.
I'm trying to be quiet during the serious discussion at this point, but then Ellie drops this wonderful comment.
These are the questions that keep rotating up. This is the Sith.
These are the questions that keep Rotini up at night. This is the Sith, who keeps Rotini up in the morning for having asked the questions at night.
I'm a literal keep up in the morning.
My little feetsies are dangling because I'm being force levitated after annoying Rocky too much.
I am going to go and talk to Zisha.
I'm going to see if
We
there's
have
any
Zisha.
way...
Sorry.
No, you go. My train of thought was not going to be fruitful whatsoever.
I was
So I was
asking
right.
if we had Zisha.
We have Zisha. I was asking Alex a question. I was right. It's Gilneas. Zisha is doing whatever the Star Wars equivalent of Duolingo is.
Captain
Hey, what's up,
Zisha.
Florrock? What's
I
up?
believe that our sleepless passenger is being haunted not by something dead, but by something living.
Is that a thing people can do?
It is what someone was doing with that spying little organic thing that we found in our cargo.
Oh, well, good thing we got rid of that then.
Indeed. I am concerned it is not a coincidence that they appeared at the same time.
Can we get like bug spray for hauntings?
For ghosts,
Like-
no, but kind of. For
I went to a
living
planet
people,
once where they had really, really big bugs that sucked your blood. Anyway, you had to wear spray the whole time you were there, or else the bugs would stick to you and suck your blood. It was really creepy. But anyway, do we have like bug spray or something that I know apparently not for ghosts, but for living people?
No, we have that less for living people.
Oh,
For ghosts, you cannot bug spray them, but there are ways to make them go away.
oh, well, can we do those?
I have.
Well, oh, all right, great.
That was
Well-
why all of the candles.
Okay, fantastic. Sounds like we're done here.
No, because it is not a ghost.
Oh,
And those do not work on force spawns
So there's no bug
Do we-
spray for the Force.
that I am aware of, no.
so I mean, I have to confess, my solutions to things like this are like bribes or talking really fast or shooting them really hard or letting Rotini play with his toys. And it sounds like maybe none of that's appropriate. I can shoot it real hard. We've got cannons on the ship.
Rotini does
If
that
I
thing.
knew where the other end of the link was, that might be appropriate.
Oh, so it doesn't have a COM address or anything, like a force COM address?
Not that I can track.
Okay. Well, do we need to are there, I don't know how this works. Are there like priests?
Yes, that's me.
Right. You told me that.
Yeah, I did.
Are there, let's see,
I am
exterminators?
picking up other people's syntax now.
On the one hand,
Not exactly. I
I had Minox attached to the ship once. I had to call like 3 different guys. Is there a guy? Like can we look in the
Yes.
directory and find like horse haunting guy?
no. There are
who you gonna call?
people who deal with things like this, but the ones I am aware of are very long dead. And I do not believe I am connected enough to them to make an attempt at summoning their ghosts so very far from where they died and anything they cared about.
Well, is it going to cause trouble other than like someone spying on the ship and our guest not being able to sleep?
People do not do things like that for no reason. I do not know what the reason might be, but
We could
Okay.
ask her.
our researcher is important to someone.
So we ask her what
And
she's
not,
Okay.
researching.
I think, in a way, that is a very good idea. I don't know
mean,
why I didn't
Rotini-
consider that.
Oh yeah, well it came out as Utini, but both of you are fluent in Java at this point.
Yeah.
And Zisha has
I
been
got-
learning how to write JavaScript.
Read JavaScript.
Well, tomato.
You say that, but composition in languages is actually an entirely separate class.
um,
And what Rotini said was,
we
could
could
we
ask.
ask what they've been researching in the past?
On the one hand,
Ah,
Utini, on the one hand, we're making this be our problem.
On the other hand,
when it's
Utini.
really not. Well, yes, but wait for it. We're making this be our problem when it really doesn't have to be our problem. I do want to point that out. We're very mercantile with our dealings. Tutini, on the other hand, they're spying on this ship, our home. your gambling winnings, however we want to describe it. My totally legitimate experimentations.
So the ship's blasters are back on the table, is what we're saying.
Possibly.
It is our
Three teeny.
problem so long as she remains on our ship.
3 teeny. On the gripping hand. I'm pretty sure Modis don't exist in this universe, but who cares?
They might.
It's a very large galaxy. Who knows? This is an interesting problem. The Faraday cage doesn't work. I don't think you can build a Faraday cage that will keep out the force. So I'm grasping at space straws here. The scented candles were nice. I particularly like the ones that smell like sage. That very nice touch. Could I have one of those later on? Never mind. This is something that the three of us have not been able to solve. But now I kind of wanna.
I was thinking maybe someone on Alderaan might have some knowledge about this.
Play
It
galactic
is.
events thing, Zisha.
Sorry?
Zisha or Rotini, roll me something for galactic events.
How about area knowledge core systems?
That's a good one. Okay. Last you heard, Alderaan was actually kind of occupied by the Sith Empire, but they were losing ground. Have you been reading the news like in the past couple months regarding Alderaan?
I don't read the news.
Probably.
It's too depressing.
I do try to keep up on the planets that we're going to.
Yeah, okay. If you did a little research on that, the Sith Empire was occupying Alderaan for the most of a year and has literally within the past month been driven off it.
Okay, so
The place
there
may
might
be a
be-
little war torn right now, just FYI.
So if
Yeah, but
only
there might be
we
a
were
guy who
going
knows a
there in
guy.
August.
You would not want to go there in August.
Oh,
It would be even more war torn.
tourist season. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, the Empire did tourist season all through Alderaan, and wasn't it lovely? Boom! No,
And you
wait,
thought-
Tini would have liked that.
You thought no. Rotini likes to use Rotini's explosives. Rotini does not like other people using explosives on Rotini. It's a do unto
Yeah,
others
there is.
from outside of the blast radius, not let others do unto you situation.
Yeah, point. Anyway, now you have that particular data, and you can decide if you think there's might be a guy who knows a guy.
well, I'm going to see if there might be. I'm optimistic, and I'm overconfident. I'm pretty sure I can find a guy who knows a guy.
Anyway, I'm
Hello?
inclined to go over and ask the researcher what they've been researching, but I have a feeling that when I do, they're going to say Utini. So, could someone the
we've got
researcher
one person-
understands come with me?
So what's flashing through Zisha's mind at the moment is, A, Rotini goes over and asks the researcher what they've been researching. Rotini says, Utini? The researcher says, Utini, and gives a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
And then
That would
Rotini comes
be-
back
be-
and tells everyone the researcher is studying thumbs.
B, Rolrock goes over and asks the researcher what the researcher has been researching. Rolrock goes over. I'm imagining Worf here. Rolrock goes over. What have you been researching? Just the normal stuff.
The researchers gotten to like Zwolrock because Zwolrock can hypnotize her into getting something resembling a good night's sleep. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than she manages on her own.
Rolrock slams a hand into the bulkhead. Tell me what you know. See, Zisha goes over, and being the one in the party with social skills.
No, don't forget
Actually-
D4.
Oh, yes,
D4 also
protocol
has social
droid.
skills.
But is not in the party. Member of the crew, not a member of the party.
We have social skills. They're just the wrong social skills.
This is true.
Who needs social skills
Intimidation,
when you have
18.
a 20 in explosives?
Zwolrock has savoir-faire.
Yeah, Zisha's going to go talk to her.
This seems like a good idea. Swolrock will sort of loom thoughtfully in the background in case something useful gets said.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want Rolrock to be there, just perhaps not the one asking the questions.
Rotini will be looming in the foreground as opposed to the background because Rocky's taking up the background.
Are you even capable of looming, Brotini?
If he holds
Is that
up the
an
thermal
intellect skill?
detonator.
Oh, true.
What
Most
would I
people
roll
use
for looming?
acting or intimidation.
I
acting
don't
or
think I've got either
intimidation.
of those.
Rotini can command the attention of an entire room, regardless
Right,
of how large the room is.
By holding a thermal detonator, you're absolutely right.
It's not the best option at the moment.
No,
For people
not
who
in
know
this
who
case. We want
Rotini
subtlety.
is, for people who know who Rotini is, Rotini can occupy the attention of an entire room by holding up a canopy.
Because everyone assumes it's probably explosive.
Yep.
Anyway,
So-
you are going over to the tired.
It wasn't
Poor
the canopy
tired.
that was explosive. It was the wrapper.
Sorry.
Anyway, I'm coming along. I'm definitely standing right next to Zisha, and it is almost certainly awkward.
Oh my, it's a mirage. Telling you all it's a sabotage. Sorry.
Well, that's the cause and effect plot.
That's a Futurama joke. They got Beastie Boys to do an a cappella version of Sabotage.
Nice.
How tired is the, like, are we talking, has I'm not going to wake the researcher up or interrupt her if she's on her way to sleep.
You can find her at a time when she is not about to go to sleep. This is fine.
She's come out for meal times.
You might have to wait a little bit, but yeah, she shows up for meal times, at least 1 or 2 a day, frequently with dark circles under her eyes, that kind of thing.
So you're doing sociology on various planets this time. You done any other research? Anything I might have heard of?
Utini?
On those definitely not pirate sites that I get my scientific research from.
Research, right. What sort of sites do you, what sort of things are you interested in?
Well, I'm interested in what you're interested in.
Utini. I primarily research the rapid oxidation of various organic compounds.
Utini. The strawberries are singing.
We've got a couple days to kill. I'm just curious. I mean, I'm studying the written Jawa language.
Oh, fascinating. I wasn't really aware I suppose they must have had a written language. I
mean, their spoken language is so scent based. They have all the diacritical marks.
Oh, right, scent based. I don't have a set of perfumes for that.
That's okay. I'm just like I said, I'm curious about what you've been researching in the past.
Oh, things. Right.
And stuff.
Right. Minerals. That's why I was on the station.
Oh, what kind of minerals?
Oh, the
Like 3 crates of gravel?
usual. No. Those were the other, and weren't there 4 of those? No.
There were eventually.
No, right. Yeah. Right, but you're saying that Ms. Utini. Utini.
Okay.
It's gibberish.
Her accent is getting better. If only she understood anything she's saying.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Minerals with metaphysical, paraphysical qualities. The Jedi use them. What are they called? They make the swords.
I am gesturing wildly to Drollrock.
The plasma claymores?
Drollrock?
Sorry, I didn't actually hear what was being said out of character.
Oh, sorry.
The
The researcher is the researcher was researching kyber crystals, but can't remember their name.
the things that Jedi make swords out of. The word Jedi has shown up. The word Jedi has entered the chat.
As soon as Zisha heard the word Jedi, she started gesturing frantically to Drollrock.
You were researching kyber crystals.
The word, right. And similar things with similar abilities that turn one kind of energy into another kind of energy. Because you can't hire Jedi to do mining by cutting through rocks and they're kind of slow. Oh.
You wanted to make giant lightsabers to be mining lasers.
To specifically get to a vibratory. Oh wow, I'm getting a splitting headache. Vibratory state that could vaporize the things you don't want and keep the things you do. Oh, do you have any painkillers?
Sit down.
She will frankly sit down wherever she is, which is possibly in a hallway, and go just sit.
Well, that's not what I meant, but that works.
Sure.
I will ping the droid whose name I've forgotten, C2D4,
CSD4.
to grab some painkillers out of the med. CSD4, to grab some painkillers out of the med bay.
Of course, sir. Wobbles off. Grogu gifts. Zulrock?
Zulrock sort of. I was going to say crouches down, but no, they sit down cross-legged.
Which is probably how the researchers.
That your research has caught someone's attention.
It wasn't. I was assisting. I'm sorry. I can't think through this. I can't think through this headache. I'm so sorry. Maybe I should lie down.
CS, would you please escort our guest to her room?
Sir, please, this way, as soon as you may stand up.
I'm going to wait until the researcher and CS are out of earshot. Tink, 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 tink.
Put back in her...
Sorry?
Put back in her storage unit. Since you are keeping her in a cargo bay with bunk, she's fine with
so
that.
So, Rock, you get the impression someone didn't want us to know about that?
Very much so.
All right.
Assisting.
Well,
so
I got Jawa to get back to.
Zisha, wait.
Okay.
Researchers publish things, yes? You were speaking of sites that you got such information from.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'll see what I can find.
Question.
Thank you.
And if I'm remembering this wrong, I'm just going to say Rotini is easily distracted, which fair and valid. So she was researching kyber crystals, but her latest research is on cultures. Am I remembering that correctly? I didn't.
She claims that her latest research is just involves going around to different planets and observing the cultures there.
Okay. So this is Rotini's thought process here. Rotini very clearly has specialized. No one disagrees with this statement that I'm aware of. Can do other things, assumes very good at those other things, but has definitely specialized. Rotini has a very specific set of skills. This researcher, one assumes, also had specializations. Kyber crystals and cultural differences don't tend to overlap on any Venn diagram. Whatever's being done,
assisting.
Even assistants have spent years specializing in that field, unless they're brand new out of whatever university, and even then.
It depends on what sort of assistance she was providing.
Fair.
There are cases in which studying lightsabers might overlap with studying cultures.
Rotini doesn't know anything about cultural sensitivity.
At the same time, there's quite a bit of this that feels hinky, so let's keep an eye out.
Oh, yes. I'm just not certain that her specialty is inaccurate. After all, the Jedi certainly would not like it if she was applying that specialty to mine.
I'm just thinking whoever didn't like what she was researching may have pushed her so hard that she went into an entirely different field.
Also possible.
Which makes me worried, because I don't want to give up my explosives.
Rotini, if anyone attempts to alter your mind, I will eviscerate them.
This comment just made Rotini's day. I don't know if you've ever seen a Jawa beam before. You still haven't because, the whole hood thing. But it happens.
And Beth, I'm glad I did.
Need to make a... Yes, it's a good thing that you actually had a skill. Okay, what's the computer ops for?
I'm looking for previous papers by this, or references to previous research by this researcher.
Okay, research would be a more appropriate skill to have.
Okay,
But you're plugging in her name. You're plugging her name in. And,
yeah, Zisha definitely does not have research as a skill.
right. You have found some scientific-y sounding websites in the things that you've got, and you're plugging her name in. I mean, you're currently in hyperspace right now, I gather, right? I don't know how good hyperspace comms are at the moment.
Zisha definitely does not make IQ -5 on a research roll.
No. Okay.
But
I wonder if I can.
She is
No, I cannot.
Reddit/r/I cripping love science. That's what Zisha likes. She pokes at research papers because she thinks they're neat. She doesn't actually understand what's going on.
I poke at research papers to see where they detonate.
Okay, you made it by 1. It's hard to get fresh stuff from in hyperspace. The download rate is absolutely terrible. You're stuck, running word searches on the on the logs that you have of things that you just sort of mass download whenever you're at a planet, because that's how you get new stuff to look at while you're in hyperspace. You're running word searches. It's taking a while. I presume that you're going to be stubborn about this, hopefully, maybe. I mean, if you're not stubborn, if you want to give up, you can give up. Just tell me.
You spend half your time weeding out the searches that were AI generated?
Yeah.
Topical.
Well, no, the AI generated searches in Star Wars have real AI. There is an intelligent, a sapient, if not necessarily sentient mind making this stuff. And it actually, a lot of it is a lot more useful than glorified predictive, chat, glorified predictive text.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're looking for research on kyber crystals and Jedi. We're not looking for research on droids.
True. Eventually...
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Indeed. They are not.
Move along.
Okay, eventually, hit the next button. A Dr. Lenny Tillewin is what you find, who has been doing research into kyber crystals and mining. There's a vague mention about their crackpot theories. You're not finding Nedra Alatin's name. That's your researcher.
I'm going to grab one of Dr. Tillewin's papers or articles, if they're a crackpot.
I feel a deep emotional bond with this person, being a crackpot myself.
And bring it to Jewelrock.
You can get some articles about them because they're quoted in the Criffing Love Science subreddit that are, okay, it's mostly excerpts of the papers. There are some
full papers behind a paywall.
The full paper's behind a paywall, but there are excerpts here, and there's a few articles, and there's something about some random mining company which was funding Dr. Lenny Tillewin, and this could revolutionize mining. But okay, you can take the papers to Zolrock if you want.
I'm taking this on a datapad to Zolrock.
Okay.
Hang on. Before I do that, are there any pictures or photographs of Dr. Tillewin in these articles?
Let's see. Let me do a roll.
It would be awfully convenient if there were.
Do you want to use your serendipity on that?
I don't. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay. There are pictures. The pictures appear to be of a human or near human male.
Okay.
The translations appear to be using he, they as pronouns. It's not clear whether the article writer was aware of what human pronouns were on some of these, so pronouns are a little bit confusing.
Fair. But it doesn't look like it doesn't look anything like our researcher.
Nope.
Okay.
Is this researcher still producing research, or was this their most recent paper?
Is Nedra Alatin cited in these articles about Lini Taluan?
No. I mean, there's this comment about, with a bunch of assistants in there.
Okay. All right. I'll take the articles to Trollrock and suggest that this might be an avenue for exploration.
So, Swolrock will read the articles.
All right. Let me just look and see if Zorok has any.
I'm genuinely surprised by how specific my niche is in the party, despite my character being kind of a generalist.
All right.
No, it's fine. It's just, there's nothing to be sorry about. I just think it's really interesting that, like, I have all of these skills, and yet I do really specific things within the context of the party.
What would Zorok like to roll against to understand try to pick out anything in these articles?
Can I make an IQ-based lightsaber roll?
Sense? Sure.
I love that this makes sense in context, but out of context, it makes no sense whatsoever, and I am here for this.
No, what the... I did not mean to click that, whatever that... I don't know why it rolled like that. I was trying to edit something to give myself a bonus because my dex
Your dex
and
is
my
10.
IQ... Yeah,
So that's a success on straight by 9, and you've got a +3 because of your IQ, so that would be a success by 4?
you think so?
Yes, I think that's the math.
Oh, I rolled an 8, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you actually succeeded in a regular one. Okay, you can pick out bits that look like this isn't as crackpot as it sounds. If you knew enough research in, the arcane rituals of the Force that could do it, probably couldn't actually be as broad spectrum. We tune it and we get gold from this. We tune it, we get platinum from that. We tune it, we get dilithium over. Oh wait, no, dilithium, wrong universe. It's probably not
if I
quite
have anything
that.
to say about it.
It's probably not quite that fine-tunable, which is what the articles appear to be gushing about the potential. But it possibly is tunable, that if you subjected a kyber crystal to the right stresses and did the right rituals and possibly anointed it with the correct blood, that you might be able to get something that could sweep through rock and small pieces of kyber crystal and related arcane force capable of bearing the force minerals would just fall out in its wake and be all nice and sparkly.
Can I compare
There
this
were
information?
engineers I knew who would have been deeply interested in that.
Can I compare this information to the joke that I made earlier, with which I meant it, though, of the back of the envelope computations about the energy forces required to destroy a planet?
I mean, you can... What answer do you want to come up with?
Compare and contrast. Is this something that could, if implemented, actually end
How much
up
real
being...
damage could this do?
Yes. In the wrong hands. And by the wrong hands, I mean mine.
Well, it's well known that lightsabers well known by the people who are actually griping about this stuff on the Criffing Left Science, that lightsabers do take small amounts of energy and run it through the kyber crystal and get large amounts of energy out. This is known. There's discussion about how many of the kyber crystals would actually be needed for Dr. Lini's device. There's a lot of back of the envelope calculations, especially if you decide to go back to the research yourself of that particular thread.
Yeah. But the numbers are going in the right direction if you found a large enough collection of kyber crystals.
If you found a large enough collection of kyber crystals and you performed the appropriate rituals and wired them up in the appropriate way, well, the appropriate rituals is someone's joke, but Zwolrock thinks yes. That you might have to get a pretty big amount, but it does turn energy weapons from the atmosphere will, dilute most of the force to
What atmosphere?
you could get that. You could get that if you had enough of the things and you had a big enough reactor. You'd probably need at least a dreadnought for that, maybe bigger.
Well, I was already figuring we'd need some type of space station the size of a small moon, which, again, unfeasible, but more feasible with kyber crystals if this math works out, which Rotini's got very mixed feelings about this because clearly someone has been looking into this that isn't Rotini.
Either that
can be bad.
Either that or you would need a small moon the size of a large moon. Can we take 5?
We can take 5.
I
We
found
are
a couple
unpaused.
Rotini GIFs.
You found more Rotini? Yes. Jamie want Big Boom. That is definitely a Rotini GIF. When in doubt, C4.
Mm-hmm.
That Rotini will think that Jamie is overdressed in that second GIF. You don't need that much armor if you just have a good idea of the blast radiuses. And yes, that third one is already in my favorites.
I think we need more explosives. So what
I
was
can
it
tell
that
because
Rotini
the
was
star is
planning to
already
do?
yellow for me. Rotini wants to do some research. Rotini wants to research the researcher, Dr. Tiny. I believe that's the name.
I also found a Zisha GIF.
Oh.
I'm just going to stand here with the problem to go away. Usually that involves not stopping Rotini. Rotini will replace the problem with other problems.
Dr. Leni
Zwolrock will help.
So make a research roll for looking up Dr. Leni Tluwin.
If I fail this roll, it will be because I'm researching Dr. Tiny Llewellyn. Just so you know.
Probably.
That's what
Just
I'm
so I
calling
know.
it as. So
What's
I
your
don't know if I
research
have the
skill?
researching skill.
That's
Hold me closer, tiny Llewellyn.
Tiny Llewellyn in the wine. Could I use my smuggling skill?
Nope. This is not a smuggling one.
Electronics operation or computer operation. I am researching using a computer.
You are using a computer. This is true. You can get all of this for computer operation. You can get all the same things that Lisha got.
Well, that sucks because I was looking for new information. Oh well.
You have a set of keywords that you can probably use the next time you're at a civilized core world to suck in information. Heck, you have computer operation. You can set up a little automatic program so the moment you get into normal space and get connected to the galactic holonet, you can suck in information right then, without
I'll
even
get
being
email
there.
alerts.
Yes.
And probably get signed up for 12 different spam newsletters. But, that's what high explosives are for. I will probably spend the next hour telling Zisha about this really cool place that I found when doing my research, because I don't know that I failed this roll. I'm too overconfident.
Mm-hmm.
But Zisha, did you know there's this really cool space website called spacereddit/r/iCriffingLoveScience? There is so much stuff here. I don't know what an upvote is. I think it's like an updog. It might be a kind of currency.
What is...
I honestly don't know. And every time I've tried to ask, a lot of people think it's funny, and I don't understand why.
How frustrating.
I know. I love every part of this conversation. This is so much better that I failed this roll.
If you make an updog joke on a Sith, you get the thing of, I have changed the punchline. Pray I do not change it further.
Well, that's just it. Rotini doesn't get updog jokes either. That would require some level of social skills. And yes, Rotini was born this century, but Rotini does not have the social skills of someone born this century. Or any century.
So, anything else that people want to try before
Sorry,
you come out of hyperspace?
That's my all-time favorite Futurama joke.
No fair, you
No fair,
change the
you
outcome
change the
by
outcome by
measuring it. Yes, I get that reference, and it is glorious.
I
So-
think that unless there is anything on the ship that I can use to attempt, I don't know how, I probably don't know how to actually do the clothing part of this, but, attempts would be made. I'm
I think-
guessing we don't have fabric with which to attempt to make a hooded cloak, because considering what people have turned up about Alderaan and said about Alderaan, I am feeling like I probably should wear something slightly more concealing so that people don't try to shoot at me on the street because there might be Jedi there.
I have a ruined tarp you can borrow. Actually, you can keep it.
Why is
Okay.
the tarp ruined?
I tried to turn it into a hooded cloak.
Can I, having just rented an RV,
Mhm.
is there a roll I can make for previous passenger left this behind accidentally?
Would like it known that you do have an Alderanian on your ship at this moment who came back with an absolutely astounding number of...
Yeah, but I don't want to have to pay them for it.
Also, we'd have to talk to her.
You did, or him or them. You're not quite sure what the gender
Sure.
is on that one.
Yeah,
You did
talk
use
to
your...
them.
How many serendipities
have-
do you have?
I have
Did you
zero
use-
serendipities at the moment.
Okay, you used both of them the other day?
As
Or a week
far
ago?
as I know, I used one last session, and that was the one I had. And
I
then
remember you
used
had-
this. I had.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I had, and we used. I stored a couple up, and then we used multiple in one session.
Okay,
And they don't generally store anyway, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
They store
don't.
one.
They're not. Yeah,
Store
they-
by one.
If it doesn't happen this session, then it should happen next session.
so you're not carrying...
So, and we're
units of serendipity.
we're treating that as I get to store one. Without having to talk to the Alderanian.
Let me give a roll. Oops, let me give a roll. Well, I am not selected as a PC. I want to roll as the GM. I swear I am going to just make myself a character that says GM.
That's below average.
Yes, but if I'm rolling a reaction roll of the universe to you, then that's not a great one because that's in the average
It's
meh.
true.
You have some cloth that was used to pad crates and stuff. It's a little better than a tarp. It's like kind of dirty. It's been kicking around in the cargo holds, in case you need to put it over something to keep something from getting scratched up.
How long do we have until we reach Alderaan?
Call it about a day.
I'm going to ask CS to see if they can launder this.
Oh, my, sir. Yes, of course I can attempt to launder this, but it may take some amount of time, especially if all I have is a sonic shower. Where are the laundry facilities, sir? I assume there are laundry facilities somewhere on the ship. Probably
Yeah,
in living
there have to
quarters.
be.
Did we mention the oil bath? I have rigged that up to also use water.
Oh, that would be excellent, sir. Yes.
It
that
has a
should
spin
work
cycle.
quite nicely. And it will probably need to use it several times, sir.
Unbelievably, Crash has mentioned this before.
I remember.
This is not coming out of nowhere.
Oh
I
no,
remember.
there is established canon.
I'm reminding the listener of this.
Yes, there's established
Unbelievably,
canon that
this is not
Rotini
coming out of
has
nowhere.
used- Rotini has used the oil bath as a shower. There was in fact
With
a
a spin cycle.
Just you may not want to be too close to it during the agitation phase. I'm still working out the bugs.
Yes.
Gets agita.
And by
You
bugs,
got
I mean there
agitated.
was a Minoc that got in there once.
And then you hit spin cycle, and then it got... Well, never mind.
The washing gets agita. What are you gonna do?
The Minoc got redistributed.
A few hours later, you will have a worn but clean tarp in a sort of nondescript, been kicking around the galaxy, browny beige, not tarp per se,
And-
but cloth.
Then I will pass that off to Rotini to sew it up.
After my last attempt at sewing, your overconfidence
I may
in
sew
your
it up
friend
myself.
is your weakness. Fortunately, your
What's-
friend is also overconfident.
Hang on. What actually is the role for sewing?
I mean, tailoring, professional skill needlework, professional skill seamstress.
Whatever of
craft
those has the
skill?
lowest default.
I believe that they would all tend to be the IQ -4.
So I need 11 or lower,
Uh-huh.
I think. What's my
Or you need to
IQ?
find out whether your droid has the program for mending things, but, you know.
No, I'm confident I can do
No,
this.
That's true. You're confident you can do it.
Searching out to the droid.
I got a 9!
I was going to say that
As Zolrak is
I'm
searching
pretty
out
sure
the
a
droid,
9 beats. I'm pretty sure a 9 beats Rotini's IQ -4.
Yes,
It
by
does
2.
indeed.
As Zolrak is searching out the droid, Rotini comes out of his quarters wearing a Zolrak-sized hooded cloak, trailing several
And going-
feet behind him. I very much look like a small child wearing a parent's Halloween costume.
On top of your own.
Well, yes, because I'm not taking off the hooded robe that I'm currently wearing. I just put another one on top. The void is now inside another void.
Which is very cute, actually.
Yes. It's a black or black. It's Vanta Black now. But you do have to sign a form in order for it to be Vanta Black. Apparently, I can't
What's the other
give
way
it to just
around?
one person.
It's if it's the pinkest pink, then you have to not be Anish Kapoor.
I didn't say what color this outside robe is. Just the color of the void.
Oh, hey, Rotini, you got that? You Drill Rock the robe is for you.
Thank you. I am appreciative.
I
Utini,
go back
I'm
to
not
the
quite
cockpit.
sure how to get out of this.
I will assist.
I tried
assume it is a
walking in an
sleeveless
opposite
robe.
direction.
I assume that Drill Rock just force lifts Rotini and then drops Rotini to the floor and grabs the hood.
If that happens, Rotini will be ecstatic
more
because
carefully
Rotini
than-
is still certain that Rotini has learned how to fly on his own and has been trying to do it again ever since. Exactly. Like, I did it. Oh. I spend the next half hour jumping. Which is better than throwing myself at the floor and trying to miss.
It does tend to mean you get fewer bruises.
I can't
have-
believe how much entertainment I've gotten out of giving Zolrak a robe.
I love it when the players amuse themselves.
There was a callback to the spin cycle in there. The droid got involved. Oh my gosh, it was wonderful.
It is quite a serviceable cloak, although if it happens to shift, people will probably see your extremely vibrant clothes that you're wearing under it. I presume you're wearing the vivid clothes.
The clothes where you
Yes.
did need to sign a release form.
And all the little Blizzard people were extremely happy to offer it and gave you some good deals on. You probably even have more than one outfit, honestly. And they just shoved your selections into the fabricator for the right, once they got the right dimensions, they got them, quickly out again. You have packages. It was great. Living in the
I'm
future
gonna-
has
Modern
benefits.
clothing fabrication is fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Zisha?
I'm going to talk to Passenger Telmer.
Okay.
Ask if there is a particular spaceport I should be touching down at.
Well, I don't know. It may have gotten bombed. I'm sure they've cleared someplace big enough. They told me I need to come home as soon as I could. I had something I wanted to show people as well, and yeah.
If they haven't cleared someplace big enough, don't worry. I've got it.
No. I'm sure someplace big enough has been cleared. I'll just need to probably send a message while we're in orbit so they can send the coordinates.
I mean, I can do this from orbit too.
Please don't go to any. Actually, you're saying Utini, so they're going to
this
to
person
go.
has no
Utini!
idea what I'm saying. Which is
Pause.
probably worse
No,
so
I'm
far
sure
as
it will
I'm
be
concerned.
I'm sure it will be fine. Ooh, teeny.
Maybe your accent gets
Spritz.
better the more fatigued you are. I need to workshop this theory.
Spritz. You're getting
Zisha
spritz,
is,
though.
during this conversation, failing to glare at Rotini. Failing to not glare at Rotini.
You missed your savoir-faire by 1.
All right. I'll let you know when we're in orbit.
Thank you. I'll prepare an email to go out when that's there so that the message can go in so that they can, and then you'll get your quarters back. Won't that be great? I just need to clean up a little. Poof. They vanish back into the captain's quarters.
I mean, it's easy for us to get our quarters back. I've got the key to the little change compartment.
If you queue it, it'll send automatically when we get back to real space.
Oh, thank you. I'll just be tidying up now. Maybe they'll send some servants out to help.
I go to wash off the perfume that has been spritzed in my face again.
Uh-huh.
CS.
Spin cycle, here I come.
Yes, sir?
Would you please keep an ear out for passenger Telmer freaking out that they can't clean up properly and offer to help?
Of course, sir. It would be my pleasure.
Watch out for the perfume.
I'm going to head back to the cockpit.
I am perfectly capable of handling perfume without dropping it or causing any sorts of accidents whatsoever. I am a well-trained factotum droid. So, should we, I don't know, do we have time? Should we go out into Alderaan space and at least start landing?
I think we should.
All right, we'll work on that. We have enough time then, I suppose.
I'm pretty sure we've only been playing for about an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, yes.
Recording is 1 hour, 47 minutes.
I'm pretty sure we've only been playing for an hour and 15 minutes.
You hit the record button early. Need to move it to the end of the thing as outtakes.
I tell my students they're not allowed to do bloopers.
Well, that's a shame for us.
Well,
We're
they
not
have a
students,
maximum
Crash.
of a 5-minute video, so if they add a blooper reel, they end up doing 1 minute of actual content and 4 minutes of bloopers.
Yeah, that's fair.
It rewards
Yeah,
them.
the
for not writing a
bloopers have to
script.
be separate. The bloopers have to be a DVD extra, and then you have to explain to them what a DVD is.
That second part of that sentence was going to be my response. I could say, it's like a Blu-ray. Oh, like our parents used to buy. Yes, like your parents used to buy.
So I'm the only one on this ship that knows what a DVD is.
Yes. Yes.
Pretty much. I'm going to pull into orbit around Alderaan.
Okay. All the things go out. The Omex stuff goes out. As it turns out, a whole bunch of data comes pouring in, and Routini's data pad lights up with a whole bunch of alerts that he's gotten a whole bunch of hits on the research query.
Spam. Spam. Ooh. This ad might be useful. I'm saving that for later. Spam.
Wonderful spam. Lovely spam.
Vikings. Do I get the actual
some
information
decent
I was looking for when this pops up is the question.
Do kids these days know that that's why that's called that?
I do try to make sure my
Possibly.
students
Who
are
knows?
classically trained in the history of the internet.
Spam.
Hey kids, do you know the Badger song is older than you are?
Mushroom.
One
Routine
character
gets-
as Zisha.
Mhm.
A snake. Oh, it's a snake.
You don't like snakes.
I
They
do
have
not.
to be snakes.
Oh, snakes. Oh, snakes. Why'd it have to be snakes?
Actually, that'd be Deza.
snakes.
Deza would be the one who's upset that it's snakes.
Yes, but I
Zisha literally has disliked serpents on her character sheet.
Mhm.
Okay, Zisha as well. That's fine.
Right.
It's
Anyway, it looks...
the character in this adventure who has Leku is the one who doesn't like long things that move.
serpents with scales.
Fair.
I assume
Anyway.
eels are okay. Anyway.
Leku should be moved. Leku should not move on their own.
True. Leku that are not attached should not be moving. Attached Leku are
Like
fine.
seeing a hand crawling around.
Pretty much.
I'm just imagining Zisha waking up in the middle
It's
of the night
creepy.
at some point and seeing something move out of the corner of her eye and not yet being awake enough to realize that it's her.
Yeah.
Like astronauts
I'm
on
sure
the
that's
space
happened
station.
at least once.
Astronauts on the space station, when they sleep, their arms and hands naturally move up towards their face. They almost go into a fetal position with their arms unless they tie them down somehow. So they wake up and there's two hands right in front of their face that look like they're reaching for their throat. It's their own hands. But it has freaked some people out.
Oh no.
I know, because I met an
Anyway,
astronaut who told me this.
Cool.
I'm going into orbit.
Okay, all the things go ping. Rotini does this amidst all of the things that are false hits. It does seem like there's actually some things in here that might be useful. You'll have to take a few hours to dig through and see if these are useful things.
I'll find out by our next session, I'm sure.
Probably. Just you'll have to remind the GM because the GM occasionally has the memory of a goldfish. Food? Is that food? I remember food. No, anyway. Zisha sees the message go out from the passenger. Zisha gets a message coming back from the ground that is addressed basically to the whole ship that is providing coordinates.
Well, I will let ground control know that I'm heading for these coordinates by request of a passenger, and I'll start heading down.
Okay. Ground control is Republic military who say in a board voice that you're supposed to hold at a particular location to be scanned to make sure that you're not secretly some Imperial escort dressed up like a Corellian freighter.
Tragically, all the GIF on the hull get burned off during entry.
No listener is going to get that. Because it's an audio format.
You put all the little GIF on top of the
I know.
outer hull image.
No, they're not
like plastic
GIF.
flamingos.
They're not GIF. One of them, just one of them, is clearly labeled Space Hippo.
That's true. That's true.
They're HEEF.
They are perhaps like little plastic flamingos, and I'm sure that Rotini can have them retract into the hull for safety, like lawn flamingos that get retracted so they don't burn up an atmosphere.
Space
how
lawn
can you have a
flamingos
tacky
are
ship
actually
with-
anthropomorphized hippos with muskets. Yes,
Yes, obviously.
I love that the pipe smoke coming out of them is going towards the front of the ship.
That's because it's of dubious things. Okay, where's my picture? I had a nice picture. Where's my nice picture? That looks promising. Is this my nice picture? No. Anyway, you I assume hold position. You get scanned. You do not appear to be a heavily armed Imperial escort craft instead of a light Corellian freighter.
Dang it!
You
My
get
latest invention didn't work. Back to the drawing board.
What were you trying?
I was trying to
What were
make
you
this look
trying
like
to-
a
never
very
mind.
large spaceship
This is-
that had lots of weapons.
I have one more question before we land.
Okay.
Is the spot we've been told to land in paved?
Would you like it to be?
Oh, yes.
It is. It's it was paved at one point.
Does bedrock
It's
count as
been-
paved?
Yeah, that's kind of it. It's a mountainous area, and there's a lot of rock, and it looks like it's been filled in to be fairly level. It looks like a ship could land there without completely crashing.
We don't
Or
want to be
being
like an
unable to
X-wing
take off again.
fighter in the Dagobah system, is what you're saying.
No, it doesn't look like you'd be. It looks like you could, in fact, take off again. It does not look like you would slump over to the side. It looks relatively sturdy. You're not quite sure if you'd be setting completely level. The deck might get a certain tilt to it, but it's nothing you couldn't handle.
My pinball machines.
Your pinball machine.
They're all
Do you even
tilted.
have pinball machines?
No.
Mm-hmm. You would not
Um,
want to play pinball at this angle, but you can land there if you make
Yisha
a
would
piloting
get
roll, of
tilted
course.
if the pinball machines got tilted.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably make an auto leveler.
I mean, what I'm thinking is on Earth,
Uh-huh.
telling the driver of a tractor trailer, here's where I want you to park, and it's a field.
It's not quite that bad.
Alternatively, what's happening at Burning Man this weekend?
It's not mud. You're at least, it's not mud.
Is the ship going to be stable if I set it down?
Yes.
Okay.
You can hover and sort of peer out the window a little bit, and yeah, it looks like it ought to be stable if you set it down. It does not look like it's going to, it looks like there used to be a landing pad here that was built here because, wow, there's a lot of stable bedrock. And then somebody dropped bombs on it a few times, and it got the holes filled in, and it's still at least stable bedrock.
Okay.
It looks quite tidy for some place that the Empire got driven out like, a month or two ago at most.
Well, I'm glad they've cleaned up.
So, did you do a piloting roll? Let me go back to that one.
I did not.
Give me a piloting roll just for grin. Okay, made it by 5. Yes, you can land fine. You can even get it a lot more level than you have to sort of angle the ship. Okay, you tilt it here and come down real careful there, but it's only a little tilted inside now because you made a success by 5. Come on. One day I'll get you. One day you'll get a crit fail and I'll have fun.
I did last time.
On piloting?
Yes.
Oh, right, I guess.
After we land,
Maybe it was
Rotini's
driving.
It was driving. It was driving you made the crit fail. Then you serendipitously decided to retcon that the droid is driving.
Yes.
It was driving, not piloting.
Okay.
But you're out of
Rotini-
serendipity now, my precious.
Yes, and the session is ending. Rotini is going to inspect the blast work that you mentioned happened in this area. We are landing in a crater. Look at it with
Quite
a
a
critical
crater.
eye.
There's someone bombed the place from orbit, or at least from high level, while they were moving fairly fast, and we're mostly trying to make sure that ships could not land here easily.
Well, as we landed, Rotini is definitely going to tisk at this because they couldn't do a very good job. I mean, they did it from orbit, and this is the largest blast radius that they could. You could do more than this with a tungsten rod. You didn't even need explosives. It's a good
Well, they
thing
might not
they're
have
not
dropped
on
explosives. Indeed.
By the way, this is going to be Rotini's attitude, even if it was done very well.
Passenger Telmer, do you require assistance unloading your everything?
Comes of extremely sad voice.
Rotini will be wearing a plastic rain poncho while saying goodbye to the Alderanian.
I heard he
No, that just
comes
said,
an
"Yeah."
extremely sad voice.
Yes. Comes in an extremely sad voice.
Well, that makes more sense than
C2,
yeet.
if you wouldn't mind. C2, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course, sir.
CS, sorry.
Yes, sir. I am the only
CS,
person
if you
here
wouldn't
with,
mind.
as I am the only person here with such a designation, even if you forget what the numbers are, that is fine. I understand. Yes, of course, I will go render my assistance. Tut, 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 tut. Oh, my. After a bit, there is a droid that is basically doing the T-pose with assorted bags and luggage and whatnot hanging off of its arms and various things draped over its shoulders and an extremely fancy hat on its head.
Is
Carefully-
there anything that could even reasonably be considered a spaceport nearby?
Nope. Well, there might be, but it's the Republic
Is there
one.
a structure nearby?
Yes, you have structures. This looks like you have actually landed on the somewhat battered remnants, not quite remnants, battered estate grounds of an Alderanian noble house. In fact, there appears to be someone coming down with a those little things in airports that they have seats on them and they have a little flat thing with the luggage and you can sit on those and put your luggage on, especially if you're like elderly and stuff. One of those is coming down a long little path that goes up to a building structure that does not look completely destroyed.
Okay. I am going to try and contact that building structure.
Okay. You get a response and a fellow. Actually, it's a verbal response, and if you're looking out the cockpit windows, you can see that the person who is driving the little hover carry-all there hold up a comm to their mouth and say, "This is Mr. Herrick, assistant to the house. We're on our way, ship. We're on our way."
Just calling to confirm, I have a passenger calling themselves Telmer Drada. I am given to understand this is not their true name, but I have never learned their true name.
Yes, we're here. I'm here for Telmer, and yes, I'm here for Telmer, and I'm also going to have an offer for your ship.
You're going to need backup.
Oh, how much luggage did they bring?
Let's put it this way. After they've offloaded, I have an entire cargo bay at my disposal.
I suppose we'll have to make a few trips then.
Step 1, we fill the airlock. Step 2, we fly over that building. Step 3, we open the airlock. Problem is no longer our problem.
I'm going to do once Zisha gets off the comm with the person piloting the
carry-all
skimmer.
Yeah.
They're going to do there's a thing, and I don't know how to communicate this in voice, where someone just like puts their hand on their forehead and just wipes it down across their face.
It's like a facepalm, but it's not a facepalm.
Yes. And then she'll go back and start loading things onto the cargo dropper. The lift from the hold.
Okay. Yes. That great big octagon in the middle.
Yes.
Crash, that GIF is concerning.
It appears to be a rectangular prism made of raw chicken.
It really does, doesn't it?
Which,
probably frozen.
That's a thing. But also, it's on an airport luggage conveyor belt.
I wager it's frozen.
I don't have any context for it, and I don't want it.
Like I said in the chat, if
actively do not. I actively do not want any more information about that.
Any information we would get about it would actually probably be disappointing. The explanation is nowhere near what our imagination could come up with.
Anyway, I'm going to start loading things onto the cargo bay lift.
Mm-hmm. And it may, in fact, take a couple of trips because the skimmer, it's got a luggage platform attached to the end. You know, it's like those little airport things that have the seats, and then it has a little trailer that's flat for, except it's a hover version. And yeah, that's if you put all the luggage on at once, you could probably make it fit, but the question is whether it would overpower the hover generators.
Yeah.
You have a somewhat sighing Mr. Herrick, just put that there, who is assisting, has parked the thing and will assist with putting the cargo into the thing and onto the platform. And so, what's your next stop? Do you have a cargo yet, Captain?
I think at this point we don't have a cargo.
We have a passenger who needs to return.
We have a passenger, but the passenger doesn't seem to care where we go.
Well, if your passenger doesn't insist that you leave immediately, then I'm authorized to offer you a job.
Is this Hark?
This is Hark.
Does it involve perfume?
What kind of job?
No. As it happens, a job where we run a power cord out to your ship and you run the engines just enough to keep powering most of the estate. We think that a ship of this size would, in fact, be able to do so, and we will recompense you for the amount of fuel that you burn doing so, as well as food for your crew, and water, and
It's you got that kind of bombing, huh?
We got that kind of bombing. The place is livable, but the heat
No air
is
conditioning.
not working. Well, at the moment, it's the heat that's going to be a bit more of a problem because it gets rather frigid at night, and we've all been bundling up together in the same rooms. And it would make things a lot easier if we aren't relying simply on the solar panels that we have set up to charge all of the tools that we need to rebuild. We're a small house, and we'd rather not have to depend on House Olgo's munificence for power since they're busy rebuilding too.
So they don't have
What's our
any
fuel level?
infrastructure?
We
I
have
would have tried to refuel on the last planet. I don't know if it would have been successful.
you were probably doing the refueling as just part of the standard. You plug it in, you start that up and
Yeah,
all that.
and it's only been a couple days trip.
Mm-hmm. If necessary, we can bring in fuel, but we don't have the ships to power the thing. All our ships for powering things have been lent to the military so that they're busy powering other locations that they're trying to rebuild, which is reasonable. The common people require power as well, perhaps even more than we do. But you're here. The military has not offered you any sort of pay right now. We're mostly doing our ships out of the generosity of our hearts. But we can pay you with the generosity of our pockets.
Rocini, what do you think?
Short term, giving them some juice isn't a bad idea. Long term, how tectonically active is this planet?
Well, it's not likely to have
Oh, it doesn't need to be.
You'd have to do
super
more
active.
scans.
Rotini is
You are
thinking about
probably-
geothermal power generation. If you go down far enough that you have a heat difference, it doesn't always need to be too far. Just to get a working heat pump or something that could help regulate internal air temperature of their structure.
They may be doing that. It's
in
just
game, it likes to. Alderaan likes to shake itself a lot.
that's true. So I suppose maybe it is tectonically active. Thank you.
That's called foreshadowing.
And I was thinking the same thing. If we can bring generators or heat pumps back,
If you teach an Alderaanian to fish,
they will have a servant fish for them.
Yes. The thing is, they probably have most of this stuff. It's just that to get their
It isn't
things
here.
placed.
they have the stuff. They technically own the stuff. It is currently being borrowed
They may even
out
have
of
it
the goodness
here.
of their heart by the military,
Yes.
is what they said.
Yes. Yeah. And
But
they
what
may
if-
indeed have geothermal things that they can sink down to do that stuff, but the parts to sink down the geothermals to do that stuff require power.
Well,
Apparently they're making it do with solar a lot of the time.
All right. Let's negotiate this then. I am perfectly happy to have the Bucephalus stay here for a couple days.
That would be
and
wonderful.
run its engines and provide power. And if that means not only that you guys get heat, but that you can drop heat sinks, that would be even better.
Yes, that's exactly the sort of thing that we need. Everything right now is all being carefully balanced with what we can get off of solar. Solar panels are delightful, really they are, and we have a number of them left over that were not destroyed by the bombs. At least we have most of them.
I'm assuming
Mostly not destroyed.
I'm assuming everything that I'm saying that they are understanding is being translated for them by somebody. Is that correct?
Yes.
Probably
Okay.
the droid.
Probably the droid.
Okay.
The droid who is still kind of stacked high with the number of packages that are being unloaded.
Here's my
All
offer,
right.
and I'll knock 5% off the price for this. In exchange for us staying here and lending you our engine power, we need full access to your net feed.
Oh, yes, all right, that's fine. That should be perfectly reasonable. Yes.
Rotini was going to suggest something like this because we have a lot of data to sift through. If this quest that we've taken upon ourselves is going to progress.
Exactly.
And if there's anything else you need, if you need supplies, we'll do the credit transfer right now. Obviously, if you need any supplies, just come. I can bring stuff down. You need supplies right now. We can bring them back after we offload this and when I come back for the next round of it.
It would be great if we could restock our galley and our med bay. Other than that, I think we're okay. Other than fuel.
Excellent. I will inform everyone. Pull out a data pad, make notes. Probably get specifics off you, which we are not necessarily going to go into, etc.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect.
And I'll bring the power. I'll have someone come down and bring out the power conduits.
All right, Rotini knows where to hook it up.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Their
Thank
little
you
people will
so
talk
much
to
for
our little
this.
people, and by little people I mean they'll talk to me. They won't understand
Yes,
the word
because
I'm
there's a little-
saying, but they'll talk to me.
You can point. You have a good.
I can point.
You can gesture at things. Mhm.
Please, please, please tell
Most
me
things are labeled.
that most of them do not squirt perfume at me in an attempt to communicate.
I have one more question.
Mhm.
How long ago did the bombing stop?
The Imperials were driven off about a month and a half ago. We got back about a month ago.
Okay.
We're definitely
Just-
cleaning up.
Just wanted to make sure.
Thank you. Yes. They should be gone. If they're not gone, go ahead and unhook yourself and fly away. Just if you could perhaps get a few of us on before you do that, that would be delightful.
I will send you a message. If I have to leave early, I will send you a message before I do.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We do have some people here who are a bit more important. We'd like to get the head of the house off world if this happens again.
Understandable.
In my
Yes,
head
thank you.
canon, there's somebody taking multiple extension cords, some of them mended in various spots with electrical tape, and plugging one into another. There's a few power strips in there somewhere just to increase length a little bit until they finally get to the ship. And we go and take a look at it, and it's the wrong plug.
Oh, no.
So I have to go in and make
It
an
may take a
adapter. Well, not that long. I do have engineering skill. I can make an adapter in short notice.
You probably have a set of adapters you've made just as, for grins.
Yes, but not for
On a shelf
Alderaan.
Okay, true. That's true. So...
Alderaan has those weird British plugs.
I pull out a case that's just travel plugs, and I'm like, no, not that one. No. This one is like the measurements are just slightly off, but the shapes are correct. So I try forcing it in, but it doesn't go, so I have to get a different one anyway. Anyway, that goes on
Rotini,
for like
that's
half an
Coruscant.
hour. Ooh, teeny. Toss that over my shoulder. Like I'm ever going back there. That will likely be our next stop.
Okay. I am going to reclaim my cabin, which apparently now smells like patchouli.
Mm-hmm. Be worse. So, shall we end off with the bustle of getting your passenger entirely out of the way? Actually, there's just one little thing. Before hopping onto the people carrying part of the little skimmer there, your passenger hops out carrying a kind of a thermos thing that seems, it's one of those indestructible thermoses and is just clutching it. And
Teeny is immediately
I don't know.
terrified
Who is
that
this?
it might be full of perfume.
this is
Still
Telmer.
cannot be wearing the poncho.
Your Alderanian Telmer is just clutching this, industrial, indestructible looking thermos thing.
Okay.
And I don't know if anyone wants to make perception rolls just for grins.
I'll make a perception roll, but
Am I here? Should I be making a roll?
I don't know.
You should.
Are you watching the?
We did make you a costume.
Let me find my mouse.
I assume you are gladly watching passenger Telmer leave the ship.
I beat my
Yeah.
perception by 3.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I beat mine by 0.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's an
so,
8.
Okay.
Zisha, that thing looks extremely unornamented, and what the heck is your froofy Alderanian doing with something that looks like it was bought in a military surplus store? Rotini, that looks like a battered thing that was bought in a military surplus store or maybe a mining surplus store. In fact, you're not sure. You may have seen some of those things in the storefronts when you were back on the station Kratoa station that you got your Alderaanian off of. So, Wolrock, there is something about that thing there's something dangerous in there, maybe, kind of. Not imminent danger, but kind of danger.
It's Gear Grinder
Anyway.
special.
Captain.
Zisha could not possibly care less.
It's leaving, after all.
It's leaving, and passengers have weird stuff all the time. I had a passenger once who had a thing that if you hadn't known it was inanimate, it would have looked like it was going to attack you at any given moment. It turned out to be a sculpture from their planet.
It was inanimate?
I suppose it is their business.
I hid in the cargo hold for 2 weeks.
You could have asked.
I'd have to get past it to ask you.
I suppose it is their business that they are carrying a weapon.
It is
a what
weapon.
now?
It feels like a danger.
Well, a
Something
thing
vaguely
that's
familiar
full
too.
of...
You made it by 5. There's something that feels familiar about the danger in it, or about it, or something.
Feels dangerous and familiar.
Hey,
How about we
Harik,
end off right here?
I have one more thing that I want to do.
One more thing.
Hey, Harik, you got customs here?
Not yet. Why? What are you trying to smuggle?
Not me. You're,
Telmer?
Passenger Telmer's got a thing that one of my crew has identified as dangerous.
Just a moment.
Just want to make sure that y'all that you and yours are not going to get blown up.
Just a moment. I'll talk with them.
So long as it's not
There's
one
in
of
fact
mine.
There's a little discussion. Telmer gets very enthusiastic looking and excited looking and gesticulates and sort of waves at the thing and gesticulates happily and waves out over at the horizon line, such as it is, because you've got like mountains around.
And then there's an explosion.
Nope. Hark walks back over.
Not it.
Don't worry. It's a biological thing and it's preserved. It shouldn't be a problem. We'll make sure to open it in case it's got some disease or something. We'll be careful.
Rotini is actually now more
alarms.
Yeah.
Alarms are going off in Zisha's brain.
Keep in mind,
Alarms
you're talking
are going
about
off
people.
into Wolrock's brain.
You are talking about overconfident, impulsive individuals, and we have multiple alarms going off in our brains, going, danger, danger, Will Robinson.
Is anybody but Zisha hearing this?
It's probably at like the base of the starboard airlock, which has a ramp down, so it's your cargo airlock. So yeah, probably.
Okay, just making sure.
Harik is not making any attempt to whisper it to Zisha and seems to think that, okay, fine, you thought it was a problem. No, it's an organic. It should be preserved, and they'll open it carefully to make sure it doesn't have any plague in it or something.
Yeah, just letting you know, someone tried to smuggle an organic onto my ship back when we left the station where we picked Telmar up, and that one was, not a great time. So
was it that small?
Something like that small?
No, the one that you found was much bigger. Much bigger.
Okay.
This is like a little thermos size.
When Rocky was done with it, it was much smaller.
Or at least much more fried.
I have no concept of how big anything is at this point.
It was about the size of a Jawa.
Really?
The one
that is not what I was.
Oh.
That is not what I was imagining.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
it was
then.
fairly big.
Yeah,
it was hiding in
something like the size of a house cat.
It was more the size of a Jawa. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, I was definitely standing behind Rocky.
I was imagining it as something that could fit in a thermos.
Nope, not the one that you found, which was sort of like a giant pupa thing. We have
history with hostile organics on this trip. Just making sure you guys know what's going on, and one of my guys pinged it as being hostile. I just want to make sure that everybody is safe and that, frankly, we're not providing power to a dead house.
It should be it's been pickled. It got dropped in alcohol. It should be dead.
That is not enough to kill everything.
And Utini,
right.
you.
Listen, man, I'm not going to tell you how to do y'all's job. Just like what you have droids in the house, right?
Not as many as we'd like. They have to recharge, remember?
Yeah, okay.
A lot of our droids are shut down. That's why I'm here without any droids.
I hear you.
We would like to power some of our droids. That's why we're bringing
Trust me, CS is a brand new addition to the crew.
Yes, I am, sir.
And
it's happy to be here.
And it's not for lack of trying. But CS, you're fantastic. Will you do me a favor? Will you have one of your active droids ping me every hour if everything's fine?
Yes.
I'm just making sure that you guys are okay. If I don't receive a ping, I'm going to pull the power cord.
Arik is probably. But don't worry. We're not planning to undo this thing until we actually have a properly sealed room to examine it in case it's some kind of plague-bearing thing.
All right, then I'll give you all the power you need.
Do you want to be present behind the protective glass when we uncork it?
Nope, I trust you. I'm just saying, if things go bad and all the organics, get, eaten up, have one of your droids stop pinging me.
Understood.
Like a dead man switch. You know how that goes.
Yes, if we're all dead, no one switches. Understood.
All right.
Rotini would like to be present behind a glass shield, but the glass shield will be the windshield of the spaceship as we are leaving orbit.
That is pretty much Zisha's approach too.
Okay, so goes off, and
their fault is they don't know Zisha and Rotini. If they did understand the personalities of Zisha and Rotini, they would understand this extreme level of caution implies an extreme level of danger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way more than normal beings would expect to encounter. Nuke it from orbit seems like a viable strategy. And I'm not entirely sure. Some people will say it's the only way to be sure. I'm not sure that's enough.
Well,
I am straight up going to say, Rotini, what do you have that you can drop into the starboard cargo bay that we can drop if we absolutely need to?
Utini, which translates to, that's a question to talk to the GM about between this session and next session.
Yes, that's true. Since we were supposed to end the session about 15 minutes ago.
And you kept doing one more thing, Columbo.
But it may very well be the oil bath set to extreme spin cycle. That much centrifugal force needs to go somewhere.
Anyway, so I think we should probably end off about there. You've gotten to Alderaan. You've decided to be concerned that there might be something that's not as pickled as your passenger thinks. It didn't get out while you were wandering around, so it must be fine. Everything's fine, Billy. It's all fine.
Define get out. We still have a Sleepless in Seattle.
That's true.
Actually, there is one more thing.
Yes, Columbo?
I do want to contact the Republic military.
They can
on a secure channel if I can.
We do that. Start the next game with that one. Can you write down what you want to do? Because I've got some stuff that I need to do, unfortunately. I have to water the cat. Does anyone have anything they want to plug?
Eo's mom writes books about cats that are prideful and prejudiced.
Along with the co-author, Jane Austen, who is dead, but that means that she can't get upset with me for what I've done to the story.
It's like Pride and Prejudice and zombies, except Jane Austen is the zombie.
No. There's no zombies in it. Just cats.
No.
Just
Jane
cats
Austen
with no
isn't
thumbs.
in the book. Jane Austen is the zombie.
That's true.
I think she was at that time, too.
Concerning. Elizabeth-McCoy.com. And speaking of things that are on the internet that you might want to look into, I hear there's this Patreon thing.
We have segues to our Patreon. Patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. Help us keep the lights on along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Shanshen, Walter, and patron emeritus Cindy.
Until next time.
This is Beth saying, oh, I don't know why they'd be worried about it. It's not dangerous at all. It's pickled. But it might provide such useful information, don't you think? It could really be good once we've cleaned up the place. What happened here? Did they bomb my room? Good night, everyone.
Meanwhile, in the background...
Guten Abend.
Hit the button.